So we're just setting up breakout rooms, but we'll be starting in 1 or 2 minutes. Hey, Cruz. Hey, Bennett. Yeah, we can also all rename ourselves. Okay, so I just opened breakout rooms just to give everyone a brief breakup. We're going to be having the same thing as yesterday, Java in the Java main room, and the CAD group is going to be staying in this main room over here. We also have 2 breakout rooms per session, so we can join those if your instructors need that.
By learning about the revolve tool. So the revolve tool is really important when you're making circular or cylindrical objects. And it's kind of weird to explain, so I thought the best way to explain it would just be to show how it works. So to start, we're gonna be making a sphere. So yeah, let me share my screen. And okay, so the sphere is, you would think that it's not so hard to make, but it actually requires you to use the revolve tool. So if you were just to make a sketch with a circle on it and then extrude it out, that would be a cylinder. But if you wanted to make a sphere, then you have to use the revolve tool because you want the sphere to kind of revolve around the circle to revolve around that top axis so that it makes a full circle. It's weird to explain, but the way it works is if you make a sketch just like we would learn yesterday, and then you just click right next to extrude, revolve, then you can click on part of the sketch. So in this case, it's half. You only want half because you're revolving 360 degrees. So it doesn't really show how it works. So if you guys are following along in CAD, it would be really helpful if you kind of did it yourself and kind of got a feel for how the revolve tool works. But yeah. So anyway, let's do it from scratch. So I have a demo sketch or a demo little part studio here. And if I made a sketch on the front plane and then I wanted a sphere, then the best way to do that would just be to make a circle, and really you only need half of a circle, but it's easier to make a full circle than a half circle. So I'll just do a full circle. And then this part's really important. You need to have a line that you want to revolve around. So we want the circle to revolve sort of this way, like the way that my mouse is going. So we want to make a line that's on the going from the top to the bottom. And then you can think about it almost as like the earth rotating around like its axis. You want to select the half part and then click revolve, and then you want to select the axis that you want to revolve around, which is the line that I just drew. And then you can see that it just makes the sphere. So it's a weird concept, but again, it's pretty simple if you just try it out. So if somebody could go into CAD and then just screen share themselves doing this, then that would be great. So yeah.
Can I try it?
Yeah, of course. Just screen share it. Are you guys able to screen share? Cool.
Okay.
Perfect. So then you have to click the little circular thing underneath the X in the revolve tool. And that's how you select the axis or are able to select the
Oh,
axis.
okay.
Yeah. And then you can click on the line. You also have to click new because new is when you're making a new object, add as if you're like adding to an object. So yeah, perfect. Now if you click check, it would make the sphere. Really nice. So yeah, it's not that hard to use, but you do need to learn how to do it. So yesterday we made a cylinder, or a cup actually. So does anyone think they know how to make a cup using the revolve tool? Because it's a little bit more complicated than the sphere, but it requires you to have like a inner and outer wall. But you are able to do it using revolve. So does anyone think they could try that? If not, I can show how to do it first and then someone could do it. But I think you guys are totally capable of figuring out how to make the cup using revolve. Okay, I'll just do it then. So when you're making a cup, like we did yesterday, so you want it to look like this. So how would we do that using revolve? Well, the base, if we looked at it from here, the base we want to be fully filled in. And then as we move up, we only want the side part to be filled in. So if we go into this sketch and we want to do it using revolve, then again, we want the base to be filled in. So I'll do that using the aligned rectangle. And then we want this, as you go up, you only want the side part to be filled in. So you can see that I'm adding, actually I can use another aligned rectangle. I'm starting from the outer edge because the outer edge is where it starts to be filled in and I'm going inward, but I'm not going to go inward all the way because we want there to be room for whatever we're putting in the cup. And then I'll just say 10, 60 is fine. And then again, I want to draw the axis that I want to revolve around. So I'll just draw that here. And then I can click revolve. And then I'll select the axis that you want. And then there you go, makes a cup. So yeah. Nice. You want to show the bowl? Can you screen share that? That sounds sick. Yeah, awesome. Cool. Is anyone confused about how to make the cup or do a bowl or something like that? No. All right. Nice. So next up, we are going to work on a little bit bigger project, which is making a marker. So a marker, we're gonna use sort of an expo marker. I have a picture of one here. And we're gonna make it in two parts. So we're gonna do the actual marker part and then the cap. And then, yeah, you could put text on the marker. But yeah, so we're gonna do, for now, just without text, but you guys can add it later. So you guys are gonna use the revolve tool to make the base of the marker, and then you're gonna also use the revolve tool to make the cap. And it doesn't have to be like perfect detail or anything, but I'll show you guys what I did really quickly. So here we go. And then, so here's the body of the marker. Again, it doesn't even have like the little thing that you can put the cap on in the base or anything like that. It's just like the cylinder marker. And then you can see that it like sort of chamfers off a little bit here. So I added that in. And then it has like the actual like tip, which yeah, Eileen's got it. Actually, my tip is a little bit off. It's sort of like chamfered like this. That's better, I think. Yeah, perfect. So anyway, yeah. It's not perfect, but the main idea is just to get more practice with the revolve tool, and also using the chamfer tool, which is sort of important. It's used sometimes to make things look better. It's used sometimes to make things more structural. So yeah, but it's used all the time. And then here's the cap that I did. You can see if you go inside, then it's the cap. And then we're going to learn about assemblies, which is how you actually put stuff together. So you can see that in this one, we have the marker and the cap, which were in separate documents before. Yeah, we'll get to coloring too. That's here as well. But you can see that here they're apart, and then we're going to learn how to put stuff together using fasten mates. So to start off, does anyone think that they could demonstrate how they would design sort of the marker body? Does anyone want to like screen share and then show them making a marker? Okay, yeah, you can do it.
It might not work, but I think I will. Oh, let me just delete this.
Cool. Which part are you doing? Are you doing like the cylinder body?
Yeah, I'm trying to do the cylinder body.
So if you want to make a cylinder, the easiest way to do that is just to make like a rectangle, like a long rectangle. And then if you revolve it, it will turn into a cylinder.
Yeah. Should probably make it taller, but I got this cylinder, but it should be like a little bit taller.
Yeah. Also though, the marker doesn't usually have like a hole in it. You want the marker body to like sort of come out so that you can have the tip.
Yeah, okay.
I can show sort of the way that I approached it, and then we can go from there. All right. So to start off, I literally just made like a long square, and then I revolved half of it to make this cylinder. And then from here, I used a sketch on top of the cylinder to make the tip. And then I extruded that sketch out. And then from there, I used the chamfer tool, which you can find here. So chamfer, and then you simply just start chamfering the edges that you want. So let's say I wanted the base to be chamfered, then I would just click on it. And then I have it set up as 2 distances right now, but you can have equal distance or distance and angle. And for 2 distances, for example, you can set, if I made this 1, then you can barely even see the chamfer anymore. Or actually, it's not even going out. But yeah, here's if you have like 1. And then if you wanted to like make it bigger, right? Sometimes it's, yeah. So like here's 1, and then you can see that the base got chamfered a little bit. But for the upper ones, I did a 5mm so that it's like longer. So this part is 5, and then it goes 1 in, and it just makes that chamfer. And then to make the tip, look how it looks.
Teddy, there's a chat. It says slow down, please. Yeah, so you're going fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Well, you can use, so the chamfer tool pretty much makes things have like an angle to them. And you can also use fillet tool, but that sort of makes it a curve. So maybe the easiest way to demonstrate how chamfer and fillet work would just be to use like the box example that we did yesterday. So let's say we added a chamfer to one side of the box, then it would look like this. So you can see that it just cuts out like sort of a wedge shape angle in it. And then if you want the wedge to be a different angle, then you could select, you could change like 1, and then you can see that this goes 5 down because that's distance 2, and then distance 1 is 1mm. Does that make sense? Okay, and then if you wanted to use the, I can't, okay, we'll get to the cylinder after, but let's just learn how to use the chamfer and fillet tool. So if you wanted to use fillet, then it does a very similar thing to chamfer, except now instead of sort of a wedge shape, it's based on like a circular pattern. So you can set the radius, and then it makes like a circle pretty much. So chamfer or fillet's used a lot when you want to like make things look better. It honestly, I don't think it has like too much value. It can be useful if you're like making clearance for like screws or something like that, or if you want like just to look nicer. And then fillet, yeah, fillet does look funny. I like the way chamfer looks more. I like the wedge, but anyway, that's not so important. But yeah, let's just make it like 4 just to make it a little bit clearer. So here's fillet, and then here's chamfer, and then here's fillet. But anyway, let's go back. So you're having trouble making the cylinder, so let's just create a new part studio, and then let's show how to do it from scratch. Okay. So if we made a circle or a sphere by revolving a circle, then the way to make a cylinder would just be to revolve a square. And you can sort of think about it like if you took like a phone, for example, and then you just spun it around, like the shape that you're making turns out to be a cylinder. And like if you took like a book or something and you turned it around, then that would be a circle or a cylinder. But if you took like a cutout piece of a circle and spun it around, then that would make a sphere. So if you want to make a cylinder, then the way to do it is just to take a rectangular object like this, and then just revolve it around like we did. Oh, I have to make the axis. One sec. Yeah, so to take a rectangular object and then revolve it around an axis. And the way to do that is just revolve tool, and then select make connector, and then click on the axis you made, and then there you go. There's your cylinder. So yeah, do you wanna show how to do it then? If that makes sense.
My screen is very laggy. I don't think it'll work.
Oh, your internet's going. Oh, okay. Sometimes Onshape gets like kind of laggy and you just need to like refresh it, but yeah. Okay, well, anyway, I'll just go back to explaining how I made the marker body and cap, and then how you can sort of assemble them using assemblies. Yeah, let's delete this. Okay. So we had the marker body, and then we were working on making the tip. So the way I did that was just extruding a rectangle. So like before I did all these chamfers, it was literally just a rectangle. You can see here, this is what it looked like before any chamfers. And then after I started adding the chamfers, it made like this edge. And then because the marker has sort of like a chisel shaped chip or shaped tip, then I just like sort of added chamfers when they looked right. And then for the cap was sort of what Alicia was doing before. You have to start off with a sketch and then revolve it around. So here's what my marker cap looked like. In the actual expo marker, it sort of starts further in and then goes out. So for the marker, I started further in and then went out. And you can see that I started at, okay, yeah, so I started the base part at 9 out. And the reason that I chose 9 is because if you go to the marker body, then you can select here, and then you can see the diameter is 18 millimeters. So this is the measure tool, and it occurs whenever you just like select on a part. So like if I wanted to select this, then you can see the diameter of the actual cylindrical body. And if I selected this, because this is where the cap goes on top of, then you can see that I get 18 millimeters down here. And there's other stats like length and angle and stuff like that. And those are just all calculated based on the parameters that you set when you're defining the sketch. So for the cap, I made this, and then I sort of went in a few millimeters and then made the top part. So yeah, and then after I revolved it around, it ended up looking like this. So not bad. I mean, obviously there's still a lot more detail that you could go into, but just to keep things simple. And then the way that you actually put them together is in an assembly. So we have the marker body and then the marker cap. So the cap has to go onto the body. So how do you do that? Well, it's not so hard. All you have to do is you have two separate part studios. And the way that you make separate part studios, by the way, is just like double clicking or right clicking and then clicking create part studio. And that will make a new part studio where you can make a different design. But I already had one part studio for the body and one for the cap. So what I did was I made an assembly this time. So the way you do that is the same way as a part studio, except instead of a part studio, you just select assembly. And assemblies are places where pretty much you can combine part studios to make more like bigger things. So for example, this is a more extreme example with a more complicated project, but for the robot CAD for this year, for like the robotics team, you can see that we have like tons of folders of, these are all parts that we use on the robot. And, you know, I'll scroll through it. There's really a lot of parts and there's even more folders inside of here. But anyway, when we all put it together, we put it together in an assembly and it turned out to look like this. It actually takes a while to load, but yeah, once it finishes buffering, you can see sort of why assemblies are so important. You know, you could never do something like this in a part studio because you would need to create every single part from scratch. In assemblies, you can import things like parts from websites. So a lot of these parts that we have on the robot here are things that we downloaded from websites such as GoBuilda or, you know, other suppliers that we buy our parts from for the robots. So you can see that all these parts are together. And then we have really a lot of these things called mates. And we have 276 mates on the robot, but they pretty much combine things together. So for our marker example, if we have a new assembly where we want to assemble the marker together, the way to do that is to click insert. And then you can see all the things that we've made so far, but I'm focused on the marker body. So you can see it just pops up and then you can drag it in here. And then the marker cap, which again pops up, you can drag it in. And then you just select check and those will import into the assembly. And then you can see here that there's a whole new row of tools. So now we've got like the sketch toolbar and then the part studio toolbar, and now we have the assembly toolbar. And most of the things are mates. So that's again how you connect things together. So there's fasten mates, which are sort of like general purpose. You can use them for like almost for like most things. Revolute mates, which are like for spinning objects. And then slider mates, which is like if you're making something that slides in and out. And then all the others are a little bit more niche. But you guys can go through and sort of hover over them and try them out yourself. So like parallel mate, for example, only allows things to rotate if they're parallel, or like they can translate, but they have to remain parallel. So those are useful in like some specific cases, but for what we're doing in like over these 3 days, they're not going to be used. You have like group features. So if you have, right, if you have like a lot of different parts and you want them to like remain together, then you can select group. And then, okay, now they're grouped. And if I wanted to move them around, they move together. You guys can see sort of how that works. But we won't be using group. We'll be using, for now, fasten mate. And so fasten mate, when you click on fasten mate, you can see like this box pops up that says mate connectors. So we've got one, you've got like to choose two things pretty much for mate connectors. So the thing that you want to fasten, so I'll select like the bottom circle. So I want the bottom circle here to be fastened onto the marker body. And then the thing that you want it to fasten to. So for example, I want to fasten to this part of the marker on the top. And then if you click it, then you can see it automatically updates and the marker cap goes onto the body, and then you select check. And then if you try to move it off, it's locked there. So that's sort of a lot, but I really want someone to sort of demo how this works. So if somebody can like screen share themselves doing Onshape and showing how this works, then that would be great. Can anyone do that? Just show like fastening two things together. It doesn't have to be like the marker, just demonstrate how the mates works. Okay, I guess not. Well, okay, anyway. We can go back. So until you guys have designed your own markers in Onshape, we're not going to move on just because there's like a lot of new stuff. So I'm going to give you guys like 15 minutes to make your own marker. If you're confused on any part of making the marker, then just let me know. But until everybody has like their own markers, then we're not going to be able to continue just because there's a lot of stuff that's important in this demonstration. So yeah, if you need any help, just let me know. But until 1:50, then you guys are going to work on the markers and we'll check in there. But yeah. Is that okay for everybody? Do you think 15 minutes is enough? All right, cool. So we can check back in 15 minutes and yeah, we'll go from there. Oh yeah, sorry. Alicia, everybody's making their own markers now. So until like 1:50, then you have to design the marker. And because you weren't here for when I was talking about mates, I can hop into the breakout room with you to show you how those work, if that's cool.
Which breakout room?
You could, anybody who needs help can join CAD breakout room 1.
How are y'all doing? Is everyone good with making a marker? Are there any questions? Good? Awesome. All right, let us know. Wait, huh? Kedar? Wait, is that how you say it? I know you told me last time. How? Sorry.
K-Dar, like the letter
Kedar.
K.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. Do you want to share your marker?
Sure. So, this is the body, and this was the cap I made. And then this is what it looks like when they're fastened.
Ooh, very cool. How did you make the cap?
I made this sketch. Wait, one sec. I made the sketch here,
Mm-hmm.
and then I
Yeah,
just did a revolve around this axis.
very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Great job. If you want to change the color of any of your parts, where it says like parts on the left-hand side, right there, if you right click, sorry. There will be like a drop down. I think you have to get out of the sketch first.
Oh. Here?
Yeah, so then, yeah. And then it says edit appearance. So all the way at the top. And you can choose colors. So that's how you can change the colors for your parts and stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for sharing. Really great marker. Anishka, how are you doing with the marker?
I'm I'm struggling to do the tip.
The tip of the marker? Remember,
Yeah.
you can use the chamfer tool. If you'd like, you can share your screen.
Yeah, it's just that I first need to actually make the square there, and for that I need to make a rectangle, which for some reason isn't working.
Oh, if you'd like, you can share your screen and I can try to help you out.
Yeah, so I don't understand. This says it's a 5 by 5 rectangle, but I literally don't see anything.
Yeah, that's weird. Do you want to try deleting the sketch and making a new one?
Yeah, I have no idea what's. Sketch pen.
Oh, it seems like for the sketch plane, you selected the front pane instead of the top of the marker. So where it says sketch plane, could you press the little... Oh, yeah. You can make a new sketch if you'd like. Press the X and then choose the top of the marker right there. Okay, there you go. Now you can make the rectangle.
Sorry.
No worries. That's fine. If you are done with your marker, I would recommend trying to look at ways to make it more realistic. So like at the bottom of a real Edgestone marker, there are like these ridges, and you could try doing that by using like the remove when you extrude, or making the tip look more like beveled inside, or also like hollow here. So if you're done, those are several ways you can try to like make it better. Or if you need help, you can definitely let me know. Yeah. Finish.
Okay, is everyone else pretty much finished with the marker project? Just let me know in chat or just tell me if you guys are done and feeling good about how all that stuff works, or if I need to go over a different part. Okay, yeah, the cap seems to be a little bit of a trouble point for some people. Is anybody like done with the marker part, or is anybody struggling on anything other than the cap for now? Okay, I guess the cap is the main concern then. So let me just show you guys how I did the cap. So you really want like to think about it, you have to have it hollow. So I mean, I just like made this sort of shape and I defined like all these points and then I just revolved it around. Like I didn't use like squares or like anything like that. I just used like the lines and then I just defined them to like these sort of like axes on the actual front plane. But how about anybody who's having like issues with the cap, like Sune, do you want to share your screen and then we can sort of help you?
So
Nice. Yeah.
I don't have to create like a part studio, but I don't know how to do that.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you at the bottom, you see that little plus?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And then how about we just go through and we can all watch you design the cap just so people will understand a little more.
Oh, so
Nice, yeah, sketch.
then I go to the edge.
Yeah, for me, it's easier if you keep the other axes like turned on just so you can see like where the edge actually is. But
Oh,
I mean, whatever works for you is cool.
oh, how did I do that for?
How do you keep the other axes like turned
Yeah,
on?
yeah.
Just like if you hover over them in the side, then you can no, like the
Oh,
other side. I
here.
don't no, like where it says under default geometry, like in the like underneath the on shape.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that like little eye, you want to click on the eyes. Yeah, exactly. And then if you go to like the little box in the top right, then you can click on the front and then you'll get like a straight on view. Just click like the word that says front on the actual box.
Oh,
So like underneath your name, like your profile name, like that box.
oh, here.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. And then that's for me is just like a lot easier. You can see like where the edges are and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the reason it's not letting you revolve it is because it's not closed off. So like you want to connect like the bottom parts so that they're touching and they like close off an area, I guess. And then also like on the side. And
Oh,
then
wait.
also, do you remember what we were doing yesterday with like defining? It's a lot, I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter for this, but like
Mhm.
it would make it easier if you like define all of your
Alright,
lines so that you can sort of change it, because right now, if you try to connect like the cap to the marker, then it's not going to be the same size, most likely. And it will not like look right. So yeah, you want to define like the size, but you also need to define like where they are
yeah.
in comparison to like the axes, I guess.
Oh, and then I need to close it off, so
So I would take a line and then like connect the points sort of.
like this, or
That would work. I mean, I would delete like the line that goes below that axis and then just connect like the bottom. But I mean, you can do whatever.
I'll like connect this, or
Yeah, like
just
that.
yeah.
And then also on the bottom one, do the same thing. Yeah, that's fine. And then you also need to make a line going up the middle so that you can actually like revolve it around the certain axis.
Oh,
So click on like the red part. There, you need to select the face that you want to revolve. You may not have closed it off correctly, so you may not be able to select it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you zoomed in a lot, then you would see that like a few of like the things are connected. So yeah, like at the
Alright.
bottom there. Yeah, perfect. Now it's all connected. You should just be able to click anywhere in it now, and it will.
there we
Yeah,
go.
nice, perfect. Cool. So then you did define like the lengths of the sides, but
Yeah,
you also are gonna want to like you can start putting it in the assembly. Like let's just see what it looks like, but you might also need to define like how far from the center the cap base is, because the radius may not match up with the thing
yeah.
they made before. So yeah, I would just select the check mark, and then if you remember how to insert it into the assembly, then you can show us how to do that as well.
Alright, so
So you do it inside the assembly. So if you go into assembly 1, that button at the top, insert. Yep. And then you just select both of them. Yeah,
yeah.
so you can see the cap is like way
Mhm.
too big.
Yeah.
So just click the check mark. And yeah. So the reason it's like that is because you didn't define it right. So will you just select like sort of to see the radius of the like where you want the cap to be on? So that's the area. You need to select like the edge of that circle, I guess. Yeah, perfect. So the diameter is 20 millimeters. So if you want the cap to go on that part, then
That's
you
be
want,
10.
yeah, it has to be 10. Exactly. So you want to go back into your sketch.
But
Into the sketch probably. Yeah.
So,
So on the bottom, like the very bottom point,
yeah. Right
if
here.
you select that point and then define that point with the axis on the side, then you can change it to 10. Yeah.
Oh.
But just and now drag it to like the middle axis, I guess. No. You
Oh,
here. Do you mind if I like
yeah.
request? See how this works. Okay, so you're super close. Oh, let's go undo. So what you needed to do was just view. So we want the distance between this point and this, which is like the center, to be 10. So the way to do that is to define it with the dimension tool. Take this, and then you click on this axis, and then you can see that now it's 22.3, which is why it's way too big. So
Yeah.
if you change it to 10, then you can see that all of the other ones turn red because now it's overdefined. So this is why you need to wait until you can't wait until late to define your sketch. So like you started everything with no definitions. So
Mhm.
now when you try to do this, it becomes really complicated. So the easiest way to do it now is just to delete like all the things that are making it overdefined. So you can see now it fixes itself, and you know, we can keep just deleting this stuff. But yeah, so this is a really good example of like why waiting till the end is a bad idea when defining the sketches. So like now you pretty much have to get rid of almost everything. But I'll just change some of this stuff. So this is 12. I want it's kind of little. Okay, I think it's easier if you just okay, so let's start from the beginning, like defining everything properly, I guess. So we have the axis in the middle, and then we want the line that comes out because the cap is angled. And then let's just start right at the beginning using the dimension tool so that the base is 10 away from here. So I got it pretty close, but let's just make sure it's 10 exactly. And then we want the top part to be another certain distance away. And let's just make this 14. And that's how you know that there's angle. And then we want the height to be a certain way so that this line is fully defined. And I'll just make it 20. And so now you can see that line turns black because it's correctly defined. So then what we need to do is drag it to the middle, and then you can just sort of make the distances that look right. And then to make it so that it's fully closed in, I'll like drag here, and then you can just sort of drag it to here. And then let's make sure everything is defined again so that all of our lines are black. And the way to do that is just selecting the, yep. And then cool. Now, oh wait, this is kind of weird. Okay, well, I made this 3. This needs to be yeah, so just define everything, and then there you go. Now the cap's nice and everything is defined. You can see no parts are blue. And then when I go to do the revolve tool, then you can see everything works out nicely. You have the revolve, and then when you go to the assembly, more importantly, and you insert the new part, then it's the right size. And then do you want to show us how to do the mating, if you remember how to do that?
Isn't it?
Stop this. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, the mates on Onshape are always like sort of finicky. You have to, sometimes it takes a few goes to get like the right face that you want to mate, but yeah. Perfect. Yep.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, you may have missed it again. It's fine. You'll get to, everyone gets the hang of it.
Wait, it's this right here. This.
So yes, perfect. Just click there. And then you want to select on the marker. So you just selected the thing that you want to fasten, and then now you're selecting what you want to fasten it to. So I would select onto like this cylindrical part at the top. Yeah, that, because that's where you want the marker base to be. And then it's flipped upside down. So you can just click like the arrows and that will flip it again. Nice. And there you go. Awesome. Nice job. Okay. Alicia, you're having issue dimensioning your lines. Dimensioning the lines is really, really annoying. But if you don't do it, then it, as we saw with just now, like if you need to change something, then it makes it really complicated. And a lot of times you just have to start over. So that's why it's so important to do it from the beginning. And if you wait till after, then it sort of makes it a lot worse. So
I don't know if it's my mouse or if it's the screen or if I did something, but it's not being dimensioned and it's not working. I don't like my screen anymore.
okay, do you want a screen share? I'll do the same thing with what I just did. I'll sort of show the way I would dimension it.
I can make the cap without dimensioning it, but I can't dimension it myself.
Okay, let's figure it out. Okay. So yeah, the cap looks really good. So just to like click on the one thing and then click on the edge. Okay, wait, you're kind of right. Oh, you already have like something here. Oh God, doing the remote control things.
Yeah.
Here's dimension. Yeah. Select this line, and then based on the diameter of the thing that you had, I'll just say it's 10 for now, but you can change it later. There's that, and then you've got that dimension, and then you want this connect to this line. You want this to be dimension.
It doesn't work.
I just click on this line, like normal click, and then next I click on this line, and then I just select this and then change the number. And then an easier way would just be to like redo these lines, because now they'll be properly defined, even if you don't dimension them, because they're connected to this. So yeah. Cool, okay. Oh wait, this may have connected here. Well, anyway, this is fine. You can fix like the little stuff yourself, and then you can make like the inner part so that you can revolve it correctly. But yeah.
Okay, but then why is this one?
Yeah, you can just redo that one. I must have just clicked something wrong. Yeah, okay. What's the issue here? I need help. I can't import my marker cap into my assembly. Okay, so do you want to share a screen? We can try to fix that. Importing stuff into the assembly is pretty much just inserting. If you go up to the insert,
It's not there.
oh, well, yeah, the reason is because you have it as a composite part. So I'm not sure how that happened, but if you click like the little square with the circle on it, then I think you'll be able to see Part Studio
Oh,
2.
it's just,
Yeah.
why was this the default thing?
Okay, well, the reason is because you didn't actually like revolve your sketch. So I'm pretty sure you may have. Okay, yeah, so you didn't define it correctly either. So this is why we did the defining stuff yesterday, because it gets to be really annoying if you don't define it correctly. Also, I don't think 3 revolves is necessary for this.
Yeah, I didn't know how to do it any other way. I couldn't, so I made a mistake by putting the line here. And I only realized it later.
Okay, yeah. How about you delete all of the revolves and then okay, yeah, the reason your thing is filled with red lines is because it's over defined now. So I would just like undo Command Z or Control Z. Yeah, Eileen's right. Just delete some of the dimensions. Actually, Eileen, do you want to go into the breakout room with her if you?
Yeah, I can do that. Let's meet in breakout room 1.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Eileen. Okay. Oh. Okay, for the rest of you guys, I'm assuming you guys are done with the marker cap example. So because there's still some people struggling, if you guys are ready to go into the next thing, then I'll sort of introduce what we're gonna do next, and then you guys can think about it because we're almost at our break. Does that sound good? All right. So I'll show you guys what we're gonna do next. So pretty much what we're gonna do is if we go into like the actual robot CAD for this year, then we have this one part that we never actually really added onto the robot because it never really seemed to work, but it's pretty simple to design, and we're going to design a little bit simpler version, but it's pretty much, we're going to learn how to import parts from like GoBuilda or another robotic supplier. And then we're going to learn how to pretty much just mate them all together. So we're not going to be learning about, like, we're not going to be working in sketches or doing any part studios or anything like that. We're just pretty much going to be importing parts and then mating them together. So it's not so bad to do, but yeah. So I guess we could probably just learn how to like import parts for now, and then we can go into the break. And then after that, I'll give you guys a list of parts that you are going to need, and then you guys can sort of make it. Does that sound good? Okay, cool. All right, so to import a part, I have, let's just say I have this like, actually, I'll just get sort of okay. Let's say I have this part here, like a U channel. So this is just like something that you can connect parts to in robotics. And we used it specifically to get more height because this part we wanted it to start from high up. So all you have to do is download the step file and then it will import into a zip. And then hopefully all you guys know how to like unzip something for a Mac. You just like double click it. And then all you have to do once it's unzipped is go into Onshape here. And then I'll make a new assembly. But for now, in this like little like plus icon at the bottom where you make a new part studio or a new assembly, let's click import. And then it will bring up this sort of like page. It should bring up this page. It should bring up a page. Here, I'll just refresh my thing. Sometimes Onshape is like this. Okay, wait, it doesn't seem to work, but pretty much you just have to import a, it will sort of try double clicking. Will that help? I think Onshape is just bugging. I don't know. Yeah, it probably pops up for you guys, but pretty much you just have to like select on the .step file, not the .zip, but the .step file, and then it will import correctly. My Onshape is just like, I guess, bugging out, but it should work for you guys. And then, yeah, you just select the .step file. I'll give you guys a list of parts from GoBuilder that you guys are going to use to actually assemble the arm. But yeah, that's what we're going to do after the break. So right now it's 2:20. If you guys want to go in the break early, then that's fine. You guys have till 2:45, and then yeah, I'll get all the parts listed, and then you guys are going to be able to go in and make it. If anybody has any more questions about how to do the marker or the marker cap or anything like that, then you guys can join the breakout room. But if not, then you guys are good to go on the break. So yeah. So we're gonna move on because nobody said that they're still struggling. So the next step is to actually assemble the arm. And I'll just show you guys what I have by screen sharing. So here's this. And remember, at the end, you are going to submit pictures of your arm. So make sure that it, it doesn't have to look exactly like this, but make sure it looks something like this. So with the 4 parts that you have, you're going to mate them together so that the servo motor, which is this, is connected to the holding bracket here. And then you want this part of, so it's like a sort of connection hub, I guess you could call it. You want that part mated to the servo using a cylindrical mate. So I'll show you guys, or a revolute mate, my bad. I'll show you guys how this works. So pretty much if you go into the servo part studio, which is one of these, I think it's this one. So you'll see that there's actually 2 parts here. And so that means that this, right, I'll just show you in an assembly, but yeah, okay. So let's say I imported the servo, right? This part is not connected. And this is like sort of the part that rotates on a servo motor. If you've ever used a servo motor, then you'll know that they pretty much just like move. But to make it so that it spins, you guys need to click revolute mate. And then you need to click this part right here. Or yeah, this part. And then you want to select this right here, and then what it will do is it will connect this gear right to the edge of the servo, and then you won't be able to move it, but you will be able to turn it. So let's say I wanted to turn it like this. I could turn it, and then you can see that the gear actually turns. So that's what a Revolute Mate does. And you guys are going to need that because on the final arm, you guys have to make it so that it's able to turn like this. You guys can see how that works. Okay, cool. So does anybody have any questions about like how the Revolute Mate works, or how you're supposed to make the arm? And then actually for like the actual like arm part, it doesn't have to be like anything too interesting. I just want like pretty much just like a rectangle. You can make it more interesting if you'd like, but I want a rectangle and then with a circle in it, the size of the hole in the hub. And then I want it mated to the hub. So all this stuff is stuff that we've learned already. So as long as everyone is paying attention, it shouldn't be too difficult, but I'll pretty much let you guys work. If you have any questions, then like before, just let me know. And yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And I'll put pictures of this file into the Google Sheets that you guys were just working on so that you can have reference photos on how it looks. So yeah, hopefully everything makes sense. And if not, then yeah, just ask questions. And yeah, good luck.
Oh, Avian, if you want to submit your marker, you can.
Oh yeah, yeah, sorry about that. I forgot. You can submit.
Wait, where's the form?
It should, I'll send it to you.
Okay. And how do I exactly put the thing in there?
Just a screenshot.
Screenshot? Do you know how to take a screenshot?
No.
Are you on Windows or Mac?
I don't know. Like,
You're on Windows, but I don't know how to do it on Windows actually.
You use the Windows key and then Shift and then S. That'll take a screenshot. But I know you mentioned you were on your dad's computer, and you might like need to save it or make
Okay,
it
how
into a
about you
file.
just share your screen and then I'll take a screenshot for you and then submit the form for you.
Yeah, that might be easier.
okay. Yeah, I have to sign into my dad's mail account for some reason, and I can't do that.
Okay, no worries. Just share your screen and then just go into like your marker.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you go into the assembly? Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, so you're good to go if you've already submitted. And yeah,
Okay.
bye.
Did you
See you
get
tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.